Just when you thought it wasn't safe to put Christian Walker in the lineup against the White Sox and struggle again, he goes off and has himself a game. The offense has themselves a game. Ryan Gusto looks good. The bullpen does business as usual. Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, and on Instagram, it's H_Wheelhouse, and they can find me on TikTok as well, Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Back to the bullpen, and actually find me at Wheelhouse Media Company on YouTube and our YouTube Shorts channel. Look, you know me, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. As Brett just mentioned, we have over 16 years of combined podcasting experience. He already mentioned his. You might have heard me from Talking Stros on Sports Talk 790. So go and make us your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So I don't know if everybody's betting on the White Sox to win, but I know after the game the day before, a lot of people probably thought that. But one guy was pretty excited about the win yesterday. He probably wasn't as excited today. But what happened to the separation of church and sports? Come on.
Oh, man, come on. Look, hey, you know what's funny is we actually have an Anglican priest who watches the show. And the way I know this, he approached me one time and he said, thank you for being positive, because when I feel like I'm losing faith, you guys help me to have faith in the Astros. And so we've been riding with a lot of people. Hey, no matter what your affiliation is, or Pope Leo, right? Just because God is on your side doesn't necessarily mean that your team always wins. But you know what? It is fun banter. Baseball is a fun game because it doesn't just span globes. It spans religions. It spans backgrounds. And we can all come together and be thankful that we have Brett today and that we have the Houston Astros. And what a day for Christian Walker today, Eric. He absolutely went off.
And Ryan Gusto, he went off as well. A lot of us have been saying he needs to go to bullpen. He needs to go down AAA. He said something else. Jose Altuve, he did something big tonight. And some of our listeners, they want us to talk about the trade deadline, even though it's a little bit far away, but maybe we could talk a little bit about it. But that's what we're talking about in this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. So let's go and talk about the big thing, Christian Walker. I know Brandon Del Castillo, the baseball lawyer, today, he's like, man, is Jose Abreu really Christian Walker? And I know a lot of people are really giving him a lot of crap. And I know this is a guy the Astros paid a lot of money for, and he's not really performing. But when this guy is on, he's on, and he was on today. He had a great game overall. It was 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, both of them 2 RBIs each, 1 run and 4 RBIs overall. But this was one of those games that's like, yeah, this is the guy the Astros, Brett, went out there and spent all this money for. This is the answer at first base. Where has he been all year?
Well, look, hold on. Why the look in like that? Like, Eric gives me these looks sometimes like it's my fault that he hasn't been great. Come on, man. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on me. But Christian Walker, and this is what I likened it to. And if you follow me on TikTok, I'll make a video and edit later. It makes me think of The Undertaker from wrestling. Like there's been a couple times where people have like taken out The Undertaker and they wheel out the casket and like, he's dead. And all of a sudden he comes to life. That's the kind of game he had. Look, he was smiling. Some people here said he looked so happy. There's not a single person on that team or in this city that has wanted him to be successful than he himself, Christian Walker. And Christian Walker is a different hitter at home than he is on the road, Eric. And I can tell you right now, in home games, okay, he has 33 hits, 18 runs, 6 home runs, 24 RBI, 11 walks, okay, hitting 268 and 810 OPS. Away games, completely different. 165, 490 OPS, only 3 home runs. So when Christian Walker is in the friendly confines of Dyken Park, he seems to really like. So we can't use the batter's eye as an excuse anymore. He does so well. I just hope that we can get the home field Christian Walker to be away field Christian Walker, because if we can do that, Eric, then he's going to start helping this team a lot more. He has had a walk-off. He has had some key hits, but these struggles are very real and they are hard to ignore. But tonight he upped his average to 217. And so he just needs to keep going game by game. But tomorrow's key, watch this game. Put it behind you like it didn't happen and focus on the at-bats in the next game. And that's how you get through a really, really long season.
Well, with Christian Walker, it seems like most of his home runs come on high breaking pitches, and that seems to be his comfort zone. And so I think pitchers are going to realize that and pitch away from that. But you're always going to have those pitchers that hang a curveball or a slider doesn't break exactly like you want it to. So this is kind of what he's looking for, and this is kind of his happy zone. And so especially here at Dyken Park, this is just where he feels comfortable. And the whole offense as a whole felt comfortable today. And you saw them do something they don't do a lot. They scored a lot of runs early in this game. This is something the Astros are last in baseball in scoring runs early in the game. They scored 3 runs in the first inning, 2 runs in third inning, 2 runs in the fourth inning, a run in the fifth inning. So they scored a whole bunch of runs for Ryan Gusto to start the game. And this is a big deal for a pitcher. We'll talk about him in a little bit, that's struggling mentally and just getting back to where he's supposed to be. But the offense, it wasn't just the Christian Walker show. It was the whole team show. You had 15 hits in today's game. You had overall 10 runs scored. Of course, you had 3 walks, only 9 strikeouts, 9 RBIs. But the big thing is you had seven doubles, and 6 of them were before the 4th inning. And so that's impressive.
Well, no, scoring early has been an issue. Chandler Rome had an excellent article in The Athletic today. I read it, and they're batting under 150 when it comes to the first inning. Also, their first time through the lineup, they're batting like 168 as a team. It's not until they get to the second time of the lineup. The whole runners in scoring position that you have here, 8 for 17, 1 homer, 7 doubles. And look, what's funny about this conversation is when the Astros get beat by the White Sox, this is the reaction, not from most, but from casuals, I call them. Oh, they're the White Sox, we should beat them, right? But then when we come and have an 8 for 17 and hit 7 doubles, well, it is the White Sox, so that's to be expected. I'm like, hold on. So are you just never happy? Like, how can that kind of fan ever be happy? Like, that's got to be a miserable fan existence. Right. They're still professionals. They still have to go out there and perform. I mean, the Rockies have not won a lot of games, but they have actually won some games. And baseball is not easy. I just really think that the Houston Astros have done a great job with the minimal output because their offense has not scored a lot. This 10-run thing is not often. But again, when they score more than 4 runs, this team wins 80% of its ball games.
And I know that yesterday I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but that they went against Shane Smith. This is the White Sox best pitcher. He's one of the best young pitchers in baseball. Not best, but he's one of those emerging young pitchers. So it wasn't a slouch. It was a guy with a great changeup. It was a guy that kept the Astros honest in that game, and the Astros just had a different game plan today. And you had Jose Altuve reach a big milestone today. He had 2,300 hits for his career, so he's creeping up there. I think you said he's getting close to Jeff Bagwell. He's
15 away from he'll tie Bagwell with 14. He needs 15 to pass Jeff Bagwell, and then I think he needs is it 600 and hold on, I've got the number right here because I tweeted it out from Craig Biggio. He's 761 hits away from passing Craig Biggio.
Right. So he's got a little bit of ways to go, but it's still good to see him getting things done. So guys, we'll go and continue this conversation. Ryan Gusto, we can't look past what he did, and where are the Astros compared to the rest of the people in AL West? We'll talk about that next.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing. The finals are happening as we speak, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are going to show up in the biggest moments? If you have to go with one team, who is that team you're going with? Are you going with OKC? Are you going with the Pacers? And how could a $200 bonus bet sound to you if you won your first $5 bets? I think it sounds exciting. So right now, if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out. And I know you got to talk about it yesterday, but we passed 14,000 subscribers. So now we're on the way to 15,000 subscribers.
Right.
So we need your help, guys. Don't stop subscribing. There's a little red button down there. All you have to do is just press that little red button and go and help us get to 15,000 subscribers. So thank you, each and every one of y'all, for becoming everydayer, someone that listens to the podcast every day. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I know, like Brett says, we always try to keep it always Stros, always positive.
Always positive. Come on, man.
Stros.
I've been saying it for years now. Always positive, always Stros. But yeah, and speaking of that, Eric, you've been kind of getting on to me about being a Ryan Gusto guy. And I'm not saying that Ryan Gusto has suddenly become the ace of the Astros pitcher staff, but you're like, hey, Gusto's your guy, isn't he? And I'm like, yeah, he's been struggling a little bit. And tonight, I don't care if it's against the White Sox, he came out and did good things. And that's what you have to do. And what's great is he adds to an already prolific pitching staff, Eric. And I just want to, for the naysayers who say that our pitching staff is mid, let me give you some rank, okay? 636 strikeouts, leads Major League Baseball, okay? They, in the hit category, we've given up the fewest hits, 468. And the batting average against, we have the lowest batting average against. And on base percentage, we are ranked second in on base percentage against. This pitching staff, whether it's the starters or the bullpen, is, yeah, you did. We'll get to it in a second. But this pitching staff really has done the job, and they are one of the best pitching staffs. The problem is not the pitching. The problem is scoring more than 3 runs. But Gusto right there, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 91 pitches, longest outing of his career. You think it's going to give him more confidence? Absolutely it is.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needed. I know a lot of people were, namely me, were criticizing him. Well, he can only go 4 1/3 inning. He can only go 3 innings. There's a lot of stuff that Ryan Gusto was struggling to do. What he did today was he was throwing a hit. He had good fastball command. He was limiting the walks. He just had overall good command of his pitches today. And yes, it was against a bad offense in the White Sox. But Luis Robert crushed the Astros the game before. He kept them under control, and the Astros the pitching just had their way overall. I know Gusto gave up 2 runs, but in 6 innings, 2 runs, that's a quality start. I'll take that any day from Ryan Gusto. So what he did today, Brett, is he made a statement. He said, all you guys are saying, I should get out of rotation. You're going to give it to this Walter guy. He's made 2 starts, and you're going to give it to this Walter guy. He made a statement here and said, no, I need to stay in a rotation because after this 13-game stretch, they may go down to a 5-man rotation. And Dana Brown, I don't know if you heard it during the broadcast, but he was saying that don't expect any of the starting pitchers to come back until late July, early August, and that includes Spencer Arrighetti.
Wow. Well, you need Spencer Arrighetti to be at full strength, and a broken thumb isn't anything to play with, especially in your throwing hand. And so if Gusto just continue to have success, then that just means it gives a little more time for Miguel Eola to get his walks under control. I think it's 5.9 walks per 9. He's striking out at an incredibly high clip. He's missing bats. He's got the swing and miss stuff, but he still walks way too many hitters. So they're working on that. And remember, that was the calling card for Hunter Brown. And I'm not saying Miguel is Hunter Brown, because they're 2 different style pitchers. But can you imagine getting a guy like that, bringing him up and putting him in the bullpen with swing and miss stuff against an opponent that's never seen the kid? There's some strategy that can be deployed there. So you need Walter, you need Gordon, you need Gusto to be successful. It takes the pressure off of Lance McCullers. I think Brown and Valdez aren't affected at all by what's going on behind them. They're just going to go out and they're going to deal. Diesel's going to throw gas. Fromber's going to wow you with the spin, and you're going to have one of the best 1-2 punches in the game. Also, we talked about Josh Hader being perfect. I mean, Brian Abreu's having an all-star season. So this pitching staff, from beginning to end, Eric, even with major injuries, is still performing as well as they can.
Yes, and a lot of times you might be saying, well, the Astros need to go get something at trade deadline. Well, it's kind of, you don't really know what they need. They might need some more at-bats. We'll talk about that.
Dana said they need a left-handed bat.
Right,
he said they're looking at a lefty, and they are still looking at a pitcher. But who do you get? My thing is, when is Jordan going to come back? He's going to be able to hold a bat at the end of the week. That doesn't sound very promising. DeCenzo, what's going on with that? So at the end of the day, sorry, Noah, I am not afraid of the Twins. Anyways, they're coming here, and I think we'll be successful against them.
Yeah, but Brian Keane, he pitched good today. Kurt, 2 great innings, 4 strikeouts, and overall the bullpen continues to have great success in the season. And I think a lot of people kind of look past what they've been doing, but Dana Brown kind of gave their scouting department and a lot of credit for finding these guys like a Kurt and a Brian Keane. So that's what we hope that the Astros are able to do at the trade deadline. And we'll talk a little bit about the trade deadline next. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen at Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out.
Have you ever decided to go to a game last minute and just head to the ballpark with family and friends? Well, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch. Hey, they even dropped a Killer Bees 4-hat set at the ballpark. Yes, so hopefully if I get one of those, y'all can go, where did I get it? I got it at the stadium. Wow, that's cool. And I use Game Time to save money. So buying tickets is fast, simple, and easy. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They got incredible last minute seats, clear seat views, and the lowest price guarantee. That takes the worry out of buying. It's the official ticketing partner of Major League Baseball. They make it easy and fun for you to grab the seats. Again, seat views right where you're going to sit. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets at Game Time. Get the Game Time app. You create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Hey, Astros fans. For at least one day, you can say that the Houston Astros are the only team in the AL West with a winning record because the Mariners, they got swept. And so the Astros now have a 4-game lead in the AL West.
That's right.
And they have the 4th best record in the American League. I know everybody was saying the sky is falling earlier in the year when the Astros were winning, losing, lose, win. And it was just like such a seesaw season. It was so much better than what we saw last season. So what I think this team, once this starts hitting, maybe once they get another bat at the trade deadline, I think you're seeing a team that's built to probably do better in the playoffs.
Yeah, it kind of makes it funny to look back on Rangers commentators who talk about how the Astros' reign in the West is over. They're not going to win the West this year. All good things come to an end. I'm like,
where's Jock Peterson?
They talk so much BS, so much crap on the mic. Jake Berger was going to be that guy. Look, I know they have a solid pitching staff, but they've already had to demote Kumar Rocker, who I love and respect. I interviewed the guy, great dude, but man, at the end of the day, all these teams are lacking. The one team behind us that I think may actually be able to gain ground over the next week or two is probably the Angels, unless we play them, because the Angels have been playing some of the best baseball in the West, right? They've just been, they're a team that's got nothing to lose. So the deal is this team is veteran unlike any other, whether you have rookies or not. I know someone mentioned Cam Smith striking out a lot, but Cam Smith sending that ball up the middle, barreling a pitch that he hasn't normally barreled. And then also Jacob Melton been striking out a lot. His last at bat, he barreled a ball up the middle, got that single, got the RBI. Those are the kind of at-bats you want to build on. Jacob Melton's still very, very fresh, but I think he has the ability to stay. Eric, we're going to be looking at this team one day. Jeremy Pena is the leader. Jacob Melton in left field. Cam Smith in right field. I don't know who's going to be our center fielder, but you have these guys that are going to be the leaders of the next generation team.
Yeah, so if you look at the Angels, they are in their past 10 games, they're 7-3. They have won 3 games in a row, but their run differential is -50. So if you look at what their expected win-loss record, it's supposed to be 29-38. So they've got a few more wins than they're supposed to. The Astros expected win and loss record is exactly where they're supposed to be. So I think the Angels are doing it with a little bit of smoke and mirrors there. The Rangers record is supposed to be a little bit better. They're supposed to have 3 more wins than they do. I think it has to do with their offense, not be able to score a lot of runs. But the AL West, I'm not going to put anybody to bed because I know that the Astros were in that position at one point a couple years ago where they were the team that had to fight back and come back last year.
Well, so it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think though the exuberance from the fan base, and that's what I'm trying to kind of feed off here, is that last year it was like, oh my gosh, like we were just digging a hole, and the hole that we dug out of, only one other team had done that, and so that was an anomaly. Okay, you mentioned to me before the show we had the 4th best record in the American League, and right now the top dogs are the Tigers and the Yankees. They are the gold standard, quote unquote, right now, what you're going for. But even though the Tigers beat us last year in that small 2-game series, I would say that if the Astros team went into the playoffs today as they were with their pitching, they probably would compete a little bit better. I would like to see some of their hitters continue to get hotter, like Yainer Diaz, like Christian Walker, Cam Smith be a little bit more, successful at the plate. But the team that you're taking to the playoffs this year, if you're 100% healthy, Eric, I think has a lot better chance to win in that first round, to win that ALDS, to get to the ALCS. And once you get there, you never know. I mean, I remember when the Dodgers lost out in the NLDS a couple years ago, and everybody thought they were going to win the World Series, and they got surprised, So it's anybody's ball game when you get there. But right now, the Astros don't care about that. Right now, the Astros are like, let's take care of today. We take care of today. We don't worry about what other people take care of, because now they got a 4-game lead, and they've done it, Eric, with really one of the lowest scoring offenses in all of baseball. They've only scored 23 runs in the first inning all season long, and yet they're finding ways to win.
Yeah, so I know that the Astros the last year they traded for Kikuchi at the deadline, and a lot of people felt like they needed a starting pitcher. I know that the Astros have won it. Their starting pitching is okay. They have a couple of let's just call them replacement players for right now. Gusto did a good job. I think that there's a couple. You could probably get a better starter, but I think the primary focus right now is probably, like you mentioned earlier, a left-handed hitter. And here are some names you can look at.
Okay,
O'Hearn with the Orioles, Brandon Lowe from the Rays, Jesus Sanchez of the Marlins, Jarren Duran from the Red Sox, Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals, Josh Naylor from the Diamondbacks, Luis Arias from the Padres, Lars Nootbaar from the Cardinals, Kyle Stowers from the Marlins, and Josh Smith from the Rangers.
So we won't go after a Naylor because he plays first base. Okay, that we have Christian Walker, so we wouldn't go after him. I mean, you got first base taken care of.
Yeah.
Lars Nootbaar is a name that I actually like. I don't just like his name. I think he could be a complementary player to this team, Eric. But the thing is, if you're going to get a solid hitter, someone who's pretty good, you're going to have to probably give up somebody on the major league roster.
Right.
So it's going to be a DeCenzo. It's going to be McCormick. It's going to be someone like that. It could be Myers. It could be Melton. It could be Shea Whitcomb. So who are they willing to part with? And if they get them, who were the first two players you mentioned?
It was O'Hearn and Brandon Lowe. I think Brandon Lowe would
be, dude, if we could get O'Hearn, that dude can absolutely hit the ball. I don't know that getting him from the Orioles, I think we would have to probably sell the farm for that kid just because. What do you think? I mean, I
don't think it would take that much. I think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, you can look him up while I'm talking, but yeah. I believe that he's a free agent. So I believe that.
Oh, so he would be a rental basically.
I believe you can look that up, but I think Brandon Lowe is the guy the Astros will probably target because they are not, even with Melton up, they are not giving up Altuve in left field. I know he's been playing a lot of left field, second base, but that's because with Gusto today, Gusto today, they wanted him to, they wanted Melton, his defense out in left field. So,
so Eric, so Ryan O'Hearn is a free agent, but he's having his best year. He's hitting .311. He has 9 home runs. But he is a rental. So maybe he's only 31. He's from Sam Houston State. Hey man, he could come over here and then maybe stick around for a little while, and maybe he'll be here when his buddy Walker Yannick gets up here from Sam Houston State, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Brandon Lowe is probably the guy that the Astros might target because they want somebody to play second base. So this is a guy that can come in and give you some power, give you some, just something that you don't really have as a consistent second baseman right now. So I think that Brandon Lowe would be a good target, looking at all the other names.
Oh, well, get this, Eric. I don't know if you know this. So he's only getting paid $8 million this year.
O'Hearn still?
Yeah. So, so that would be a really, really good option. I mean, dude, let's go get him now. Like, add O'Hearn to this lineup. That would be massive.
Yeah. So if you're asking us right now at this time, June 11th, when you still got a month and a half until the trade deadline, I think that they'll probably go get a second baseman who can maybe bat left-handed, and Brandon Lowe would be the guy that fits the bill. Otherwise, there'll be a Rouse. I don't even know how to say his name.
Luis Arias.
Arias, yeah.
Yeah,
Arias.
no, I mean he's more
not
of
having a great season.
Yeah. He's actually hitting really terrible. So Hugh Stone says Jordan is the acquisition. Now, I would agree with that, but Dana Brown had said, even though we know we're getting Jordan back, we still want to look at another left-handed bat. So they basically are looking for that. They're having active talks, and heck, they're actually having active talks about bringing Uola up as well. Now, he may be a guy one of our pitchers may be someone that is trade bait, and they may want to get him up to kind of dangle him out there. I would hate to give up someone with that upside, but you never know what they're going to do as a prospect. I mean, all the guys that we traded in the Zach Greinke trade. I mean, Rojas is still playing, but the other guys, they're no mas. They don't play anymore. So it's always a crapshoot. I like guys that have done it.
I know he doesn't really excite me much, but Josh Smith also plays second base, so he's another option for the Astros. So there are a lot of targets that the Astros could get, but the question is Alvarez ready to come back by that time? What's the Astros' biggest need? Is there any more injuries to the rotation? Is there any key injuries to the Astros bullpen? There's so many questions between now and then. And where are the Astros? Are the Astros still on top of the AL West at that time? So there's still a lot to be determined between now and then. And so Dana Brown, he's just kind of kicking the tires, seeing what's out there. But I know that the Twins and the Red Sox just made a trade, but the Red Sox are acquiring talent. So even though they're not doing so well, they're still getting players. So I don't know if they'll be trading Duran.
Yeah, it's so funny. I saw one of these horrible sites on Facebook riddled with false articles. They're like, Alex Bregman and the Astros have a under the table agreement to return to Houston. I'm like, he's not even playing. So look, be careful what you listen to. One of the things you can trust when you come to us, and I know Eric would agree with me when I say this, is that we give you the right news. We don't give you BS. We don't fill you stuff, with like false information. You hear it here, you hear it real. And look, ride with us all season long, because nobody does more for the Houston Astros than myself and Eric the Man Huysman.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be talking about another Astros victory, and we will see you tomorrow.
Go Stros. Oh, you took me out.